Welcome back. In this section, we're going to be talking about variables and what are variables. So variables are just ways in which we can basically store data values. Think about it as say a cup of milk or a cup of water. What is the cup doing? Just holding milk, or is holding water, or the cup is holding say orange juice. So all a variable is doing is basically is containing that data, is holding on to it, is holds that value that we want. So let's go over, there's different types of variables. Let's go over them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do comment. And this is a multi-line comment. There's one line comment which is like this, just 2 forward slashes. And comments do not get executed by the program, meaning say we do a console that right line, we do hello world, and if we do 2 forward slashes in front of that, it gets this green color. This will not get executed. And this is a multi-line comment, and if I put it there, it's not going to get executed as well. So if I run this, it won't show up because it's being commented out. So you just keep that in mind. So we have different types of variables, right? So we have int, and integers hold whole numbers. So let me write that, whole numbers. And these are numbers without decimal places. So say 1, 0, -9, 456. Let's say. Get rid of this thing. Okay. We have doubles with our just floating numbers or decimals. And these are like, say, 3.14, -9.65, things like that. We have char, which stands for character. So it stores a single character. This could be like, say, an A, or a number, or it could be a symbol, just any character. We have string, which stores, say, just text. Could be just like we did with the hello world, and is surrounded by double quotes, and as you see, characters are surrounded by single quotes, as I put here. And we have bool, which is Boolean, and this stores true or false. All right, so the way to create a variable, and so we can specify a value at the beginning or not. So basically what we want to do is do the type and do the variable name and then semicolon. And then if we want to specify the value when we create the variable, we can do type variable, sorry for my typing, name equals to value. So this is the way to initialize variables. So now that we know this basic stuff, let's try creating some variables of our own. So let's say we create a variable of type string, and we can call the variable whatever we want. There's some limitations, and I'll mention that later, but for now, assume we can name it everything we want. So let's say message, and let's write hello world. Remember, this is string, and like I said, string needs to be surrounded by double quotations. That's why I am putting these quotations right here. And then what we want to do is we want to do console.writeLine, and we're going to print the whatever we have in message. So right here we're printing whatever has in message. So let's run that and see what happens. So as you guys can see, hello world popped up. And the reason why it popped up is because message basically holds hello world. So this makes sense, right? Let's create another variable. This time let's create a integer. Say fave number. And let's assign it 5. And let's do console.writeLine. And let's print the favorite number. Before we do that, let's do a character. And I'm going to call it my letter. And characters are surrounded by single quotes. And then I'm just going to put this symbol. You can put whatever symbol you want. It's fine. And then we're going to do console.writeLine and do my letter. Let's run this and see what happens. So we got hello world, we got favorite number 5, and then we got our symbol. Pretty cool so far. So all of these have been created and initialized in the same line. Let's try creating a boolean and say is smart equals to true. I'm sorry, I'm gonna initialize in a different line. So I'm gonna do boolean is smart, and then I'm gonna say is smart equals to true. And now let's console log that. Console writeLine. So is smart. Let's run that, and we get true. So the only one we're missing is double. So let's do one for double as well. So let's do double. My double equals 3.14, and do console.writeLine my double. All right, let's run that and see what happens. So we get, as expected, hello world, we get the 5, we get our symbol, we get true, and we get our double. Now, let's say we have hello world right here in message. And let's say after this, we change the message to say, this is my new message. So if I run this, what do you guys expect to be written to the console? Right? It should be this guy, because this got assigned hello world, and then we replace the value. So if we run this, we'll see this is my new message because we put new data in there. It's like having a cup of water, throwing the water away, and now pouring some milk in the cup of water. We could also assign variables to other variables, and we could also add them. Let's say we have this message, hello world, and then we want to display hello world, and we also want to display this is my new message. Let's create new variable. Let's call it result, and then result is going to be equals to message, and then we can add two variables together. So let's make another variable here, and let's call it message2. And if we add message and message 2. What this is going to be doing is basically adding this two string together, and this is called concatenating strings. And we're going to talk more about this later on, but essentially we're going to see hello world, and then this is my new message. Let's add the space. Actually, we can add a space in between here, and then let's print result, and let's run this and see what happens. And as you can see, we have hello world and message 2. So we add it into result and we assign it to this variable. So, and then we write to the line. And just to make this clear, you're always going to have the value on the right, and then you're going to store it on the variable, which is on the left. So you always assign it like this. You cannot invert these two things, just in case, I don't know, you were thinking about that, but it's always in this order. And cool, another way we can do it is we can even put it here. And honestly, we can change this to be, let's delete some of this stuff. Make it a little hard to read. So I'm going to say hello world, and then I'm going to say my favorite number is, and then I'm going to create an integer here, and you can type your favorite number, and then we can just do message plus, let's put a space in between, let's do message 2, and then put a space in between, say, and then put favorite number. And if we do this, what we expect to do is this message will get printed, which has hello world, and then we're printing it just a space. Then we're printing whatever's in message 2, which is my favorite number is. Then we have a space, and then we're going to print favorite number, which is 5. And this is what we should see. So indeed, we see hello world, space, my favorite number is 5. Cool. So I will be linking the name conventions and rules down in the description. Keep in mind that putting names that make sense and it's easy to read and meaningful names is very important. Not because, so for example, I can type anything here. I can say like this thing, right? And I can run it and still have the same output, but that makes it a lot harder to read the code, to know what the hell is this thing, right? So you should put meaningful names to your variable. That is very, very important, and keep away from doing like A or just X or Y or Z or whatever. Don't do that. Put like names that actually make sense and matter. And another thing is, even this message thing, this should be something better. And the last thing I want to go over in this section is, if you don't want a value to be modified, you add the constant key in front of it, and then that cannot be modified, even from yourself. So if you do message equals something else, you even get an error here, and it will say local constant. So you cannot modify this. Even if you try to run this, you're gonna have build errors. So let's keep that in mind. So we have reached the end of this video. I hope you guys found this interesting and you learned something, right? On the next section, we're gonna be getting some user input, and that's starting to gonna get a little more interesting. And you'll see that we can do a little more stuff. Every time we add a new thing, it's like a new set of tools in our toolbox. So it's gonna be more fun. I'll catch you guys in the next one.